the EL Gaming lineup. For those of you that may need a little bit of a refresher, they are position number 1 with almost 90% win rates, and, well, yeah, they're pretty much the craziest team in the competition by far.
Oh, look, impressive stuff all around. And Alex, if I just have to ask you, who's your favourite player on EL Gaming?
Oh, it's got to be Fox TS.
How can you go past Fox TS?
I love my man Fox TS. He was awarded the MVP prize last season for the most sniper damage dealt, and he's been continuing it this season, picking lots of fun tanks like the Grill 15, and even getting into I think the S-Tank once or twice.
We've seen him dabble a little bit there. A man of many talents, but of course on the other side of the table, DarkWolves, their biggest challenge lies ahead of them today. It's going to be a rough one. Can the boys, Revolution and Batkong, caveat as well, some of their star players who just haven't looked as crush hot as we would have hoped?
Yeah, look, DarkWolves, I mean, it's really hard. I like Gomley on the DarkWolves lineup. He's a pretty solid heavy tank player. He generally blocks a lot of damage, but really there's no other kind of super standout players on the DarkWolves lineup, and they always struggle to gel as a team, and they really are on just a slightly lower level of play than many other teams in WGL APAC. But look, that being said, they've still got a few maps that they're not too bad at. I think Ruinberg is one of those. They can play a decent Ruinberg, so I think that's going to be their best bet here for trying to take one off EL Gaming. So I'm hoping that they can do that.
Spitz has been stepping up a ton recently as well. Yesterday he was exerting some impressive damage statistics,
You're not wrong.
Constantly topping that. So if the rest of the team can kind of pick up the slack and follow his lead by example, old boy Spitz there, they might actually have a chance of taking a few more tanks than they may have gotten normally, because that's, let's be real, EL, they are looking like an unstoppable juggernaut, of course. Yesterday did falter a little bit, so this is the best chance Horsemen are going to get, DarkWolves are going to get at a wounded EL, but it's yet to be seen if that wound is going to make them fight even stronger.
Potentially. Well, let's take a look at our featured matchup here today and see whether these two players will be fighting a little bit stronger. Nice for EL Gaming. Impeccable stats there for Mr. Nice with just about 80% accuracy, 85% average penetration rate, which is absolutely, it is insane.
Yeah, the damage dealt as well, just completely eclipsing poor Gomley over there, who's had a rough one. It's always difficult to have your statistics really shine when you're sitting on the bottom of the leaderboard in terms of DarkWolves placing. So it's never going to be pretty comparing players from the first to the last. But Gomley still got some impressive stuff coming through. 73%. It's not as good as 85, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Accuracy only 6% behind Nice. So Gomley's still doing work. Never expecting it to be as impressive as Nice. But you got to look at the silver linings here.
Yeah, and the super impressive thing to me about these stats is that Nice, he's actually a bit of a flex player for EL Gaming. He's played 10 different tanks in the first 2 weeks of WGL APAC this season, and he's looked brilliant on just about all of them. So that's one of the dangers with EL Gaming. You've got players like Nice that can just jump into a tank like that and just have their raw mechanical skill in the game carry them through.
We'll have to see if the side of EL can show us a little bit of their varying strategies, because we have seen them kind of fall back to that rush tactic when things start to go wrong for them. So I'd like to see them against DarkWolves, who are a little bit of the definitely the dark horse of this competition, all the way down at the bottom. If anyone was to pull off an upset, it would be them. Try something a little bit new. Yeah, because obviously DarkWolves are going to have a little bit of a rough time up against EL. So if EL can maybe flex some new strategies out tonight, it's a great opportunity to do so.
Absolutely, and this is a WGL competitive setting. So even though they might be versing the DarkWolves here, it is still a high intensity setting. You still have to win under pressure, and I'm sure the DarkWolves will be playing the best to try and pull off a game or two against EL Gaming. So you're right, I definitely hope that EL pull off something a little bit kind of flexy here. They've done it in the past when they have been playing some of these kind of lower placed teams in the game. I know that we've seen the double grill Strat Prokhorovka from EL before. Picked a few different tanks as well. So definitely hoping to see some of those.
Because we know EL, they don't struggle with any of the teams in our current region here. It's when they go overseas, they've got to be thinking of the long play here. How they're going to strengthen their roster, their strategies coming forward into, obviously, they're probably going to place first, win the whole thing. It's it's just how EL goes. So when they are up against some of these more experienced teams, they have a little bit of varying strategies to help bolster themselves. Because we saw at the Rumble, like you said a few weeks ago, their aggressive strategies just didn't work out. It just couldn't cut it against some of these more experienced teams.
Yeah, that's right. At the Rumble, of course, for those of you that missed it, basically EL, they kind of drove in like they normally did in APAC last season, except instead of destroying all the enemy tanks, they just kind of drove in and died and looked like a very lower tier team. And I don't think they are. I think they're actually a very good team, but just that strategy didn't work on the kind of international field of play. And we have seen this season they've really changed it up. You know, this season they are going with the more slower style of play sometimes, you know, trying to throw curveballs in the mix here, and they're baiting teams into them, to push into them, and it has been kind of generally working. They are on the top of the leaderboard, of course. They have won every game. Yesterday against Horsemen, they did falter a little bit in that 5-4. You know, Horsemen were leading at 1 point, 3-2.
Excellent. Until they just got ahead of themselves. It seemed like they were too desperate to get that last win on the board, and that's when EL play good, when you're not playing like yourselves. But something that's always impressed me about tanks is how high the skill ceiling goes. We've seen how the best players in our region play, and then they go over to the international stage and just look like you said, a lower class team, where we know EL are far from it. So I really hope that they can improve their own individual skill ceiling in our own region.
Yes, hopefully. So right now we are going to be seeing the maps coming up here between these two teams. We've got first up MUROVANKA, then followed by Mines. I think that one's going to be a good one for EL. They're seeming very confident on Mines this season, 100% win rate on it. And then Ruinberg, I think that's the map where maybe DarkWolves can pull off a win, possibly. Then we've got Himmelsdorf, finally the tiebreaker on step. So don't think we're going to be seeing any wins from DarkWolves anywhere outside of Ruinberg. But I mean, look, they can definitely give EL a bit of a shove on Mines. Maybe they can try a rush tactic on MUROVANKA and see if they can surprise EL in some way. I don't really think it's going to work, but look, let's see what EL have to offer.
Yeah, it's one of those games where both teams will benefit from not playing standard. EL, they get a chance to learn a bit more if they play something a little bit unorthodox here. But then, of course, DarkWolves, if they just play standard and EL play standard, it's going to be a clear-cut loss for them. So they also have to give themselves a little bit of a wiggle room here to expand on their strategies. So I really hope that they themselves can identify that coming into this game.
Exactly. I would love to see DarkWolves trying something out a little bit new. I mean, we did see them last season. They're the team that actually picked the double arty on MUROVANKA here. I don't really expect to see it this time, but it has been done. And I think it was DarkWolves or Meltdown, one of the two. Anyways, one of the Korean teams. DarkWolves, they have picked arty before quite frequently. I would like to maybe see that coming out on their defensive side on MUROVANKA potentially, so that they can get some resets on that 2 flag if it is just pressured slowly by EL Gaming. But we're definitely expecting to see lots of Kranwagens here on both sides, maybe 1 or 2, just to hold down on the defensive side. Get those nice shots that we saw last game, the Emil getting into the flag when it gets capped, the other Kranwagen or Emil, whatever they pick, on the hill, just overlooking the flag with that nice turret. Lots of options for that Swedish tier 10 heavy tank in this one.
Yeah, it's been a good weekend for not only the Swedish heavies, it's also been a good week for the arties. We've seen some 1-shots, we've seen some 800 damage plus shots. It's been a really convincing, because I wasn't quite sold on artillery in the APAC. We've seen it just be constantly no hits or misses. I know it Rex facing quick play and whatnot, but when it came to professional, it was always a little bit shaky. So it's good to see it finally coming through here. Of course, Jordan would argue vigorously otherwise.
Yes, well, Jordan, and he's
not
an
here now.
fan.
He's not here, so we can say whatever we damn want, Alex.
Absolutely, that's always good to know. But we're not going to be seeing any artillery from the looks of things. Nope. Instead, look at that. Kranwagen Central over on the DarkWolves side. They have got 2 Kranwagens and the baby Kranwagen, the ML2, on their lineup. So they're going to be very hard to kind of dig out of any hold-down positions which they find themselves in. On the attack as well, that's interesting. So we could be seeing like a very kind of aggressive, pushy 2-flag maneuver here from the DarkWolves looking at that lineup. EL Gaming, however, they've got 1 Kranwagen, lots of damage on the rest of their field. That's an EL lineup that to me says, look, you know, we're not scared of you.
No, they just want to fight fast, get this in and out. Quick game here, we'll have to see, because EL Gaming taking on DarkWolves in our second series of tonight. Jumping in at map 1, it is MUROVANKA. And we know EL quite strong on this map and every map following, funnily enough. But here we are, jumping aboard with Yui.
Okay, so early on, DarkWolves going pretty aggressively on the attack here, heading towards that one flag. And Caviar is sitting in the Magic Forest. That's good. It means that if one or two EL members try and rotate over there to get some resets, then they're going to be spotted, and it's not going to be easy for them. So early on, don't mind these positions from DarkWolves.
You can see EL kind of playing a little bit reserved here. They've only sent Black and Quiet up to go for the breaks. Usually we see a few Kranvagers on that hill where Gomli's sitting just opposite him, but EL opting to go for something a little bit more reserved. So we'll have to see when they decide to make the play, because they still have a minute and a half to play with here. Only one tank on the flag for DarkWolves at the moment, where Black and Quiet, they're both in a position to go for a peak break.
Yeah. So right now, going to be seeing that cap started off.
Ooh, Revolution though.
Ooh, Revolution, yeah, look at that. Taking a bit of shots.
There's
down to 0 HP. How did that happen?
I'm not even sure where he was, but he just got obliterated from the face of the map. We'd seen he take damage before we even got into the game, so I guess just great focus fire out of EL, something we constantly find ourselves praising about this lineup. Black gets the break, but now Guanren might be in a little bit of trouble. He is only the scouting player this time around, so it's not the end of the world should he go down. But DarkWolves already lost a player. Guanren does fall, so it's evened up, but that's a scout tank for Revolution's Batchat. Not a trade I'd be willing to make any day of the week.
Yeah, no, not at all. And it's going to mean a big gun off the field there for the DarkWolves. And EL Gaming still looking pretty strong. DarkWolves have got themselves back onto the cap, but that is not going to work for them, because EL Gaming, they're coming around, and I think we're about to see the EL push.
Yeah, this is it. This is tried and true to EL aggression. Beautiful stuff when they are able to pull it off. Black just destroys Yui off the map. See you later, mate. The rest of EL should be funneling through now. Hardliner, they're taking a little bit of damage, but they're just going to cycle him out. Nice, and Fox TS should have no trouble finishing off Gomli. He goes down now, Principal in the firing lines as Caviar making his presence known on the map. But can he get a few shots? Destroys that building at least. Batkong goes down to the Batchat of Nice Lambert, able to get the return kill onto Hardliner, but I think it's too little too late as DarkWolves have to head for the hills.
Yeah, look, DarkWolves, they're just getting obliterated. At least they did manage to take out Hardliner and deal a fair chunk of damage over there to Principal, but a very solid defensive push there from EL Gaming. It's going to mean that they should take out Lambert in the Kranvagen fairly soon. Just getting into that position where they can shoot that Kranvagen's weak front and side hull armor. And now it's just a matter of Caviar and Binu getting found out by EL. And there we go, Fox DS doing the work in that TVP.
Yeah, there's no trouble shutting him down here now. Binu, last player left alive, and there's not a lot you can do when you're the last player left alive at tanks except pad your stats, and that's something we love talking about here. Irrelevant damage, isn't it, Alex?
Irrelevant damage. That's APAC phrase of the week. Trademark,
that's
exactly.
It.
But there you go. Very convincing win from EL Gaming.
Oh, typical stuff.
Typical stuff. On the attack, it was always going to be hard for the DarkWolves to try and pull that off. I'm not entirely sure if those kind of essentially triple Kranvagen worked there for the DarkWolves. A triple Swedish heavy. That didn't seem like it had a real purpose. They didn't really get hold down. They didn't really get focus fired by EL Gaming. EL just ignored them. They went for the DarkWolves Batchats instead. They took the damage off the field first. Then after that was done, they could just push right onto the Kranvagens, nullify their hold down advantage, and take them down afterwards.
Yeah, I'm curious to whereabouts Revolution was sitting when he got completely destroyed off the map. He'd already taken like a little brunt of damage. Alex, we're doing ventriloquist at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but well, it's good to know. But overall, I would agree with you. It was a good start there from EL Gaming, knowing that they could kind of take that pick essentially on Revolution so early on. And after that, we saw EL, they weren't content just waiting around for DarkWolves to push. They didn't want to wait for that cap timer to tick down any longer. They knew that they could win an all-out fight. That's exactly what they did.
Well, it's interesting to me how they were able to kill Revolution so quickly, because it looked like they were playing quite reserved. None of them going up to that hill that we usually see people contest for that one flag, and then all of a sudden, Revolution just gets destroyed off the map. And we are going to go to the post-damage stats to see where the damage is dealt, to hopefully give us a clearer picture of who could have killed Revolution.
Yeah, let's take a look at that one. And it seemed like Black was on the top there in the damage. That's in that 113 with Fox TS close behind in his TVP. 16 shots fired, about 4 clips. Good on Fox TS for that one. Quiet in the Kranwagen, 2.7k. And, well, the not so surprising thing here, Rogi, is that there's no DarkWolves Kranwagens up the top of the scoreboard.
Yeah, that kind of paints the picture here. EL, great stuff as well. And you can see the Kranwagens all populating the second half of the leaderboard.
Yeah, it's not looking great. Lambert there in his Kranwagen, only 507 damage, only 1 shot and another kill shot as well in that one. Apart from that, Guan Red in the Amex 1390 not doing anything, and yeah, Revolution just getting caught out that early on, ending up with a total of 0 damage.
A rough start for DarkWolves here, but I'm sure they expected nothing less. But coming into the next game, they've got to brush it off. They've got to keep their confidence high, because the last thing you want to do is get defeated straight off the bat. So I'm sure they're going to be coming into the next game feeling good, hopefully feeling good about it, maybe mixing it up. It is the defense, so they've got a little bit more time to work with when they want to make their plays. But we know EL, they are quite relentless when it's their turn for attack.
Yes, very, very relentless. And I would honestly expect EL just to default back to their kind of aggressive EL strategies that they're known, and they just execute so well here on MUROVANKA. I don't think we're going to be seeing any kind of super cautious EL. I think we're just going to be seeing them rushing into that one flag, rushing around those hills down there, and going straight at the DarkWolves, particularly if the DarkWolves go for heavy tanks.
Well, that's the EL that we know and love, right? It's when they're playing fast and aggressive, just throwing caution to the wind, getting in there, making the games quick and easy. But hopefully for DarkWolves, they can mount a better defense than we saw last game. Coming into the second half, you said you questioned the double Kranwagen on the side of DarkWolves. What would you like to see them replace that with?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would like to see the double Kranwagen replaced with maybe... on the attacking side, honestly, it's hard to go past bat chats on MUROVANKA. I mean, if they do want to go for the heavies, a couple of 113s maybe instead would be a little bit better. But yeah, I've never felt that on the attacking side here in MUROVANKA, there's enough of an opportunity to get into those hold down positions at the Kranwagens. That's really the purpose of them. And maybe 1, but 2, 3, like the DarkWolves pick just then, just a little bit too much.
A bit of overkill on their side, so hopefully they can rectify that mistake and come into the next round a little bit, you know, more composed with their tank picks. Like we said, they went a little bit overboard with the Kranwagen. Like we said, it's a great tank, but it has a time and a place, right?
Yes, that's right. No doubt about it. And I think 3 was just a little bit too much there on MUROVANKA. So I wouldn't mind seeing maybe something like a tank destroyer or grill even coming out from DarkWolves on the attack. You can sit that back all the way to the windmill. On the attacking side and use that to snipe out some of those defenders that are going to be on the other kind of defensive hill. And I think the DarkWolves, they do like picking the grill occasionally, so maybe that's a little bit of a flex pick. Who mans the
grill for the DarkWolves?
I think it might actually be the flex player for the DarkWolves, Gomley, potentially. But Gomley does generally play heavy tanks if they're available. So, yeah, we'll have to see whether the DarkWolves do end up going with that one. I'm not sure.
They're pretty much their world's their oyster at the moment. They have a lot of potential variables that they can throw in. It's just whether or not they know which ones to do. And we're going to, without further ado, not going to keep you guys guessing for much longer. We got the tanks ready to have a look at what DarkWolves we'll be picking. And Alex, we said hopefully not the double Kranwagen again. They've gone for it. They've thrown caution to the wind. They've got
the double Kranwagen and the T110E5. So a very heavy lineup there from the DarkWolves. To start us off, the Amex 1390 as well in the defense. They might be sending that one either out to the 2 flag just to scout out early off or on towards the Magic Forest. But EL Gaming, love that lineup. They've got the Object 432 in there. You can pop that on the cap. It's got a very bouncy turret for a tier 9 medium tank. T110E5, bit of kind of fire support. They'll have no problem pushing into the DarkWolves here unless they let the DarkWolves poke them from the hill.
Look, we have seen the Crown Bargains work in the past, especially when defending that one flag. It is kind of the one that's reigning supreme, so hopefully DarkWolves, they can utilize that well, but we're jumping into game number 2, EL with a quick victory on the first one, and look at this, they want to make it quick again with Nice, Quiet, and Principal already contesting the one flag.
Yeah, and look at this, Quiet already poking up above, so it seems like EL Gaming, they're not too concerned about the flag cap. They know that they're going to get resets happening, so it's looking like a very early... Oh, actually back-kong there. I'm not sure how he missed that shot, but he did...
He missed a second.
Misses a second. He needs to hit these ones on towards Fox CS in that TVP, but he's only in the AMX 1390, so a little bit disappointing for the DarkWolves that they haven't been able to put a slightly higher damage tank in there. But now 40 seconds left until that cap is happening. Actually, that was a good little reset there by Caviar. Unfortunately, he's going to pay for his life.
Yeah, that's just what EL do. Every time you go for a trade, their trades are just more efficient. DarkWolves, unfortunately, they drop a tank. They've done a lot of health bars. Backcon goes down as well to Hardliner, and already DarkWolves down 2 tanks. EL, they just know how to punish you for every slight misplay.
Yeah, that's rough. And honestly, as Caviar, like, yeah, you've got to get the reset, but you really should try and not poke your frontal hull armor, particularly that lower front plate of the Crown Bargain over the hill, to just get obliterated by EL Gaming. So now it's a 5-on-4, 5-on-7 rather, favour of EL Gaming, and it should just be a matter of time. DarkWolves trying for a bit of a desperation push here, Rogi.
Yeah, not going to happen though. Binu, he's getting very, very low. A couple more shells should do it. He's going to go down. He's somehow alive on 11 HP. Not going to matter though, as Yui on the sidelines, trying to get some shots in from the side. Looking a little bit grim though. Hardliner and Nice should have no trouble taking out Lambert in the Crown Bargain. Up on the hill, there he goes down. Explodes like a powder keg right now. Gomley, last player left in the midst of this action, as we know that a Yui. He's turned tailed and run, and that's about all he can do right now. EL, 6 tanks to 2. Another very convincing round on DarkWolves. You give these guys a finger, they'll take your whole arm.
Yeah, look at that. And the DarkWolves, I think, right from the tank picks, that was never really going to work out for them. They needed to pick something a little bit faster to try and go at EL with.
Is he giving him the no just there?
Yeah,
I think I saw him giving him the no with the turret.
Yeah.
That was cheeky. That was cheeky.
Very, very cheeky. And even when they've got the map completely in the bag, little plays like that from Black on EL Gaming, you know, wiggling the turret so that the DarkWolves can't get an easy shot on towards it. That is the discipline that EL are really known for showing here, and you know, that's why they just won another very convincing half on MUROVANKA.
Look, it seems like it's basic stuff, right? You poke over, you get the reset, you do a little bit of damage, then you come out. Against any other team, that could work, but against EL, they lose a tank just straight up for something as simple as a reset. They could have gone around through the little village, gone for a shot down there, but they opt to, like you said, get the Crown Bargain over, exposing some of its weak spots, and really just, unfortunately for them, just losing a tank so early on, such a detriment.
Yeah, look, Caviar there, I'm not too sure. He did need to go for the reset technically, but at the end of the day, that was always going to happen. That's always what happens with EL. Like, if there is a position that EL Gaming tanks could be in to shoot you, they will be in that position to shoot you, and they will shoot you, and they'll all connect their shots, and they'll all penetrate their shots. We saw 85% penetration rate for our featured matchup player, Nice, today, and that's pretty much the story across all of EL Gaming's roster. They are just insane mechanical tankers. Makes it so hard to match with any other team in the league, when, you know, it's almost like EL Gaming have like tier 11 tanks because they get their shots.
They got the crew to make it the tier 11 tank.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know,
themselves.
because they get their shots through, because they you know, they always aim their turrets at the right spots. It's like an unfair advantage, really.
Let's have a look at the replays and see some of the action that went place in the game. I really want to see that peek over that just demolished Caviar, and we're going to see that right now.
Yeah, look at that. All of EL already pre-aimed towards him. That is rough. That is very, very rough. So perhaps Yui should have peeked around there instead in the batch at 25T, maybe even Gomley, but at the end of the day, I don't really think it mattered which tank of DarkWolves peeked there, because EL Gaming were very, very confident after that.
And it's one of the things I really admire about EL. It's just the ability to have everyone in position at the right time, looking at the right spots, forcing your opponent into these small windows that they think is the correct decision to make, but they don't realize that EL were the ones that made that decision for them.
Yeah, exactly. So here we see post-battle stats. EL Gaming, no surprises up the top there with hard lineup. We had 2.8 thousand damage. Guanren in the object 432. That's how we see, you know, how much of a strong tank that tier 9 Soviet medium is.
Oh,
Basically 2.9 thousand damage with that one, and 12 shots fired. She's got such high DPM on the gun, and it's a tier 9, so often it is going to get ignored over the bat chats. But well, we can see the effect that has right there on the scoreboard.
Look, and the right hand's obviously proving to be a very vital piece in the puzzle when playing on MUROVANKA for EL Gaming here. As the rest show, you can see the Kranwagen not doing too well for Caviar, as he did get obliterated right off the bat. Was able to get a few shots off, but unfortunately for him, still doing more than some of his teammates despite the early death.
Yep. 1200, I mean, you can't really complain about that. I'm sure Caviar won't be too disappointed with that damage there, but 2-0 after the first map, and there were some very quick matches as well. I think DarkWolves, they really got to put a break on the EL train here, and it's a train loaded with lots of tanks on each carriage.
That's similar to them in Prokhorovka.
Yeah, so, yeah, with the T-34s on it, I think. So there you go.
Well, we're coming into Mines for the next map, and Mines for me is just it's EL's canvas. And when they get on there, they make absolute art. Some of the aggressive plays that I've seen EL make on Mines is always beautiful to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, EL on Mines, it's fantastic to see. Whenever they do it, they always make up something new. Particularly in this season, they've been really trying out the kind of around the side, the eastern side pushes on the mines, around the side of the hill, pushing right back up into the hill. That's often surprised their opponents. Wouldn't be too surprised to see that here. They're probably going to go for a grill. They do like their grills on mines. Probably not going to be seeing an arty from EL though.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of teams vary their strategies coming into Mines. Like you mentioned, we have seen the EL make its debut a few times onto Mines, never really doing too much of a success, and EL always bringing something new to the table, whether you said like it's an eastern push or a western push. We even saw on the defense Black just driving straight through the middle, getting onto the side of the cliffs there and just hanging out for a bit, making sure no one got in that 2 flag.
Yeah, exactly. So there we go. That was EL Gaming. One of their last matches on Mines, but I think this match on Mines probably going to be seeing lots of bat chats, lots of TVPs we expect from them, and just the usual stuff from EL. Don't really think they're going to be going with too many non-auto loading mediums. We might see a 113 or 2 just for a bit of bulk in their lineup. You can't go wrong with the 113 or 2.
It seemed like after their shaky victory yesterday that they want to come into this series really strong and prove to everyone once again that they are the team to beat, that there's no doubt in these players' minds that EL back on top.
Yep, well, we'll see that right now. Of course, Mines, it is the map where you want to take control of that central hill. It offers so much map vision, so much map control, and I wouldn't be surprised to see EL just push right for it. Well, DarkWolves, on the other hand, who knows what they're going to do, but they're going to have to really pull a rabbit out of their hat.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game jumping into the tank screen here. You can see, as Alex so wisely predicted, a lot of bat shots for EL, but the E100 kind of sticking out for me here. Not
yeah, that
seems very rarely from EL do they run a tank that doesn't absolutely hoon, and the Scorpion G as well. Haven't seen that too often.
Yeah, you're actually going with a very interesting lineup here. The E100 is not something that we've seen from them at all, and I'm a little bit surprised to see it on Mines, to be honest. We'll see how it works out, but I guess it is a very heavy pick and can be used to kind of bully the hill, I guess, if it's sat down behind it, but still not convinced. The Scorpion G, however, it's a tier 8 tank destroyer. It's kind of like an Udez, but a little bit more mobile in the sense that it doesn't have to set up from travel mode into siege mode. Still lots of damage, and I still think it's a solid pick.
Well, maybe EL Gaming taking a leaf out of Coalition Zoo's book, seeing something that they've done in the past and thinking it's worked. Hardliner already gets taken very, very low, trying to go for a brazen push across the river. He gets down to 200 HP, and he's still poking someone. Put a straight on this man because he's crazy.
Well, he's crazy, but not that crazy, because those TVPs are actually on the reload right now. So, well, DarkWolves might have thought they were you know, happy as Larry. Happy as Larry after trying to take down Hardliner there, but they have just paid the price. 2 TVP and a bat chat and another TVP.
There's the other TVP for you, Alex. It's gone just like that. EL, the answer's so strong every time. A part of me thinks, oh, DarkWolves, great start by them. Immediately 3 tanks down. EL. Oh no, they don't let you get away with anything. You try to disrespect Hardliner as he disrespects you driving out through the open. You pay for it with your life principle. Just going to be taken out Batkong in the T49. And Caviar, he may be able to do a little something here against Fox TS, but Quiet's there for the backup as well. 2 shells left in the chamber. Can he get it? Misses one onto Fox TS on 13 health. A glare will take him out at this stage. Finally goes down, but unfortunately, couple kills for DarkWolves, but it's still a 4 versus 2, and EL once again.
Yeah, look, DarkWolves have managed to clean up a few, but at the end of the day, EL Gaming here never really losing control of this half, and DarkWolves, no. I mean, they might even be able to clean this out at the 2-minute mark if they spot Lambert's, but it's looking like Lambert there is... Oh, yeah, he's definitely spotted Black. I'm not sure if Black's on the reload or not, but it'll be a little bit over 2 minutes that EL is able to claim this victory in. There we go.
Look, we knew Mines was a quick one, and we knew EL knew how to play it well, but that was, like I said, it's a canvas that they paint art on, and that return fire after Hardliner got dropped to 200 HP was perfect. He comes back out, he has the confidence that his teammates are also backing him up, also putting on the pressure, so they're not just going to turn around and shoot him like they said. Like you said, they identified that all the TVPs were on reload, so there was nothing they could really do.
There you go. Very disappointing there from the DarkWolves. At least they did manage to take down a few tanks of EL Gaming. Yep. I'm still a little bit unsure as to what the E100 actually did there for EL Gaming. He showed up. He got a few high alpha shots, but not really much else. I mean, I don't know. Like you pick the E100 because it's got a very high alpha. I suppose that might have helped out a little bit in bursting down some of the other tanks, and it's kind of like the high alpha tank that you can put at the front lines. Whereas if you want to grill, then you can't really put it anywhere close to the action. It's got to be sitting back. So maybe that's why EL Gaming picked it. But anyways, who knows? Let's find out what it did a little bit more on the replays.
Yeah, there should be some great stuff coming out here. And this is Hardliner just getting absolutely put to the brink of death. But immediately they recognize what a DarkWolves going to do next. They're going to reload and they're going to try and rotate. Hardliner pokes back out, gets about 2,000 damage, give or take, into the backsides of DarkWolves. Binu now already in a terrible position because the EL, they've already completely set up. That's what happens when you waste a bunch of time.
Exactly. So that is it's very disappointing there from the DarkWolves, and we see all of the EL members all the way up the top there. Look, Gomley, one of my favourite players on the DarkWolves. Good to see him up there on number 3 in that bat chat. But at the end of the day, it just was not enough. And that Kranwagen from Principal with 13, 17 damage, I think, yeah, maybe that's what EL were doing with the E100 and the Kranwagen and co, just pushing up the hill with a little bit more of a kind of sturdy lineup that would be harder for those hill defenders to kind of take down. Obviously, once a Kranwagen and the E100 get up the hill, then particularly the Kranwagen can use that hold down turret of its to do some work.
Yeah, should have that game had not gone so awry for DarkWolves, we may have seen what the grand scheme of things coming out for EL would have been with the Kranwagen and the E100. But unfortunately, things just went from bad to worse immediately off the bat for DarkWolves as they lost, I think, 3 or 4 tanks after trying to kill Hardliner there. So we'll never know what EL's plan was, but your guess is as good as any's, Alex, getting up there with the heavy defense.
Yeah. Absolutely. So hopefully for DarkWolves' sake, they can make this round last a little bit longer than 2 minutes. I think they got a few troubles in that department, but you know, if they can make a solid fight, maybe go down to 1 tank apiece, then I think that's about as close as to a win as DarkWolves are going to get here. But apart from that, maybe we might be seeing an artillery piece for DarkWolves on the defense. Could help out a little bit, but then I just feel EL might just do a rush and it'll be completely useless. So very, very hard to say what to pick against EL. Maybe the DarkWolves just want to go super default, super passive, you know, pick some honestly, even Mausers and a Grill and some other super defensive tanks to sit back and just let EL Gaming come to them. That might work. I don't know, but I don't think they're going to be doing that. I think instead the DarkWolves are just going to be playing standard here, getting the bat chats in, getting a TVP or two in. We'll have to wait and see.
You mentioned they're DarkWolves are kind of burning daylight here, just trying to get to Ruinberg, where they really actually have a chance of taking some of these rounds off, as Mines and MUROVANKA just really didn't look like there were any opportunities for DarkWolves to bite back. But we're going to jump into the tank lineups here for our second half of Mines to see if our predictions are correct. And a lot of bat shots on the side of DarkWolves, and that's how they like to play Mines.
Yep, well, they're just going standard there, as we expected. The DarkWolves not really looking anything in too crazy with those bat chats, a TVP, and the 113. EL Gaming, however, going to be going with a super high damage lineup. All auto loaders apart from the RU251. The Kranwagen in there as well. It's going to be great to put that one on the hill. Use that nice strong turret to get hull down. Let's find out where EL Gaming head off to.
EL Gaming currently 3-0 up over the DarkWolves, who are really struggling to find their footing in this game. And already you can see EL, they want to contest the hill of Mines straight off the bat. Quiet should get a few shots into Caviar, who's already taken very low, down to 852. He's got it back out of there. He's not going to be able to contest that any longer. And this just goes to show, once again, EL accuracy in the making.
Crazy there by EL Gaming, and Caviar wasn't even reloaded. Of course, the bat chats take a little bit longer to reload than they do to get up on the hill after the start of Mines. But those TVPs in EL Gaming, that's why they picked them on here. They're reloaded, they're ready to go, they're ready to unleash a lot of damage. So DarkWolves already, we're not even a minute into the game, and they are 3,000 hit points behind.
It's absolutely insane what these guys can do. Gomley's now starting to get peppered up a little bit, down 372 health from a shot out of Black by the looks of it. He's going to try and contest Hardliner here. Has a little bit of cover to work with, so he's not in any immediate danger yet, but Quiet and Fox CS are contesting that 2-cap right now. Where are the rest of DarkWolves going to go through? The Lamb's taking a few shots here and there as he wants to make his rotate round. Guan Ren going to be cutting off Caviar. Should he go for the long flank? But 35 seconds left on the hill. DarkWolves are going to have to start getting themselves into position very soon.
Yeah, there we go. And that's... Oh, no. Oh, no. Caviar there in the bat chat. He can't even get the simple little boost, which actually isn't that easy to do, but... You know, when
here
you
comes
can't
round two.
Yeah, what? No, I don't think he had enough speed. Oh, no, we didn't see the Caviar fail.
It was a fail, as we can see on the minimap. He's going to be taking the long way around. Yui now starting to dish some damage back onto Fox. Yes, and Quiet, like you mentioned, got the reset in time. But at what cost? 2 tanks go down for DarkWolves. Oh, here comes Backong flying into the hill. Going
How did he land that?
Ham.
Oh my goodness, I thought he was going to die from collision damage right there. How did Backong pull that off? All of the DarkWolves, they're just falling into EL's hands right now.
Yep.
And they have honestly just given up in this one. They're trying to make their tags fly, Rogie.
Look, Bones heal and Chicks dig scars, because what Backong did was amazing just there. Props to him, but unfortunately for them, DarkWolves are going to fall down 4-0 to EL Gaming. They need one more round on our next map of Ruinberg here. But that's Mines, ladies and gentlemen. That is Mines when you're going up against EL Gaming. 2 to 3 minute rounds apiece, both sides. We've had games. We've had rounds last longer than that map.
Crazy.
Nuts to think.
Absolutely crazy. Honestly, you could probably take all of the game time in this series and compress it into, you know, 1 or 2 of the games that we had yesterday. The entire game. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, look, I mean, the DarkWolves there by the end of it, I would have loved to have jumped onto their comms to see what they're saying. I mean, even though we can't understand Korean, I'm sure it would have been pretty funny. I think we'll have to try and sneak it in.
The same in every language,
yeah,
mate.
exactly. I'm sure we'll have to try and sneak it in the next one if we get, you know, time to. But yeah, flying off the cliff.
Yeah, I can just imagine Backong in his mind. He's got the cowboy hat. He's swinging it around. So, yeah, as he jumps on in to his impending doom.
Yeah. Well, anyways, look, I actually think Backong there, he's done a valuable bit of research, because I don't think anyone else has actually tried, particularly in a WGL game, to jump off that cliff that fast in a bat chat that's so low in health. And, well, I think Batkong there, if nothing else, he's actually proved to us through that research that it is possible to jump off the cliff without taking too much damage. So
such a scholar.
Yes, exactly. Well done, Batkong.
We'll have to see if it affects the meta in the coming days. Who knows?
Imagine if there was an EL tank underneath him.
When
he landed, it was like a sumo slam.
Look, we've seen crazier things in tanks. Like yesterday, we saw the two S-tanks going up against each other up on the heels of Prokhorovka. There can only be one winner. Prokhorovka is usually where we see the crazy things. Yes. But today we saw crazy things happening on mine, so let's take another brief look at how that one went down. It was a quick one, so you can imagine how this went. There it is.
Yeah,
that's fat air with a PH, Alex.
Fat air.
That's fat air.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a shame he didn't land on anyone.
That's the type of plays that makes that top 10 if he'd gone around, got like the double reset and a kill.
Yep. There we go. So there we go. Again.
Ooh, ouch.
Again, hardliner with a Batchat 25T, 2.2 thousand damage, quite there in that TVP, 2.1k, some solid numbers all across the board. And unfortunately for the DarkWolves, the only member of their team that was up the top was Binu in his TVP. So really not ideal at all, Rogi.
Poor stuff coming out of the DarkWolves. We knew they were going to be playing. We knew they were really up against the pump this game, but hoped in our heart of hearts that they were able to do a little better going around, hitting that 8th spot as well. So 6 of the 7 DarkWolves players on that second half of the leaderboard, all the way down at the bottom. Really feeling it this game.
That's rough. That's super rough. And Batkong in that Batchat AP there, 0 damage. What can you do? It's 4-0 now. Yep. And honestly, we are at Ruinberg. This is a map where I thought that maybe DarkWolves could have tried to pull one sneaky round off EL if they just scrounged something together.
We've seen crazy things happen on Ruinberg in the past.
Oh, we have, but honestly, this is, I'm not really feeling like this is the DarkWolves that's going to win a map against EL here.
No, they're really just faltering under the pressure right now and not showing any redeemable qualities at the moment. It's rough to make an argument for them.
Exactly. And look, I'm just looking through all of our predictions for this week, and out of every prediction that we make, I can't see a single one where we've actually agreed on something apart from this one here, the fact that it's going to be a 5-0.
Yeah, that's it, right? We've all gone for the 5-0 on this one, and to no one's surprise, it's looking quite likely that that will be the end result. Hopefully for the DarkWolves, the players and the fans, they can pull off a win here against EL. Even one map would be a huge achievement for them tonight. We said Ruinberg would be the map to do it. MUROVANKA, Mines, they were kind of a whitewash, but coming into Ruinberg, the crazy things can happen. We've seen a lot of different tech coming out, so if there's any map that DarkWolves can pull off an upset, it's going to be Ruinberg.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But let's not count on that just yet. Let's take a think a little bit about what tanks we might be seeing here on Ruinberg. Of course, Ruinberg, a much more diverse map than Mines. Well, maybe the CDC. Who knows?
I love the CDC bait we saw yesterday.
Yeah, that was good.
I love that. I love that.
Reverse double spy CDC that we thought was going to go into the one flag, but ended up not.
6 of the defenders all at the one flag, and he's just chilling there on the 2 flags having a ball. That was a lot of fun.
That was a good one. I'm not too sure that we'll be seeing a CDC from either of these teams today. Wargaming, they don't need such trickery to win the map here on Ruinberg. Very asymmetrical map, of course. Can do the 1 flag push, can do the 2 flag push out to the town, can come up from the inner city out to the east, from the south up to the north in that 2 flag. Lots of options for either the attack or the defenders here. Let's see what they're going to be going.
Looks like a few AMX 50Bs for EL Gaming. What have you spotted, Alex?
EL Gaming going with the M40, M43 on the defense here on Ruinberg. Now,
interesting stuff.
Is definitely EL Gaming trying something new. I don't think they try this against a team like Horseman or Team Efficiency or Karen Tiger, because I don't really think the M40, I mean, I do struggle to see how much of it makes sense here. Look, sometimes it can do some work, but in the typical spots that you'll find the defending tanks, that artillery piece is very, very hard to kind of get an aim in, because in the town, near the 2 flag, the buildings will block most of the shots. And then often you'll only have 1 tank out to the 1 flag. So I would say that probably means that, well, EL Gaming, they wouldn't mind a town push here from the DarkWolves. It looks like that's what they're going for. And EL with that STRV 103B as well. And he's going to be moving all the way down there. If he can get himself into a nice hold-down position.
Look at DarkWolves, though. They're going real fast, straight down the middle. Yes. They want to have a quick round here. They want to get home for dinner right now. Lambert already taken down a 600. Gomley going to be finding a few shots of his own. Black gets the first blood here onto Lambert. He falls back Kong straight after, and they are not messing around right now. Goodness. EL Gaming, they've set up the chokehold. DarkWolves ran straight into it, and unfortunately, for DarkWolves, they tried a very EL-esque strategy, rushing straight through, but unfortunately, they don't have the same presence of mind as EL Gaming. Should no trouble cleaning this one, and I feel like we spent more time speculating about how this game was going to go than it actually went, Alex.
Yeah, seriously, like they've already taken down 3 tanks. This game, I guarantee you, Max, will not last 2 minutes. We're at 8 minutes and 30 seconds just about right now. Yui's about to go down. There is 1 tank left on the DarkWolves, 1 minute and 30 seconds into the game. It takes about 30 seconds to drive to the town from the start. Like, seriously, EL.
I want to get a check if that was our quickest game.
Probably.
1.5 minutes of gameplay.
Unless we've seen something crazy like an all-in on mines where, yeah, I don't know.
That's
definitely the quickest in this series.
Oh, without a doubt, that was just straight aggression. But it was untapped aggression coming out of DarkWolves. They didn't have a purpose. They just all ran straight in. EL, they get the spot, and every single tank, all 7 turrets, just aim in, focus one guy down. Lambert first to fall, and after that, I don't know what DarkWolves was thinking. Maybe they just thought, heck, let's get out of this. Let's opt out. The eject button's right there. We'll press it.
Look, that's the thing as well. I didn't actually mind what the DarkWolves had to try and do there.
Sure.
They tried to push into the town, and they got there very, very fast. It was a very decisive push, and against other teams, I actually think that might have worked. But EL, it didn't worry about that. They didn't even send a tank to defend out that one flag, I don't think. They just sent everyone into the town. The STRV, look, it was a little bit later getting there, but he just pressed the X button, got into that siege mode, bam, as soon as he was there, he started dishing out the damage, and EL Gaming, I mean, they're on another level. I think this is really EL Gaming back again after yesterday.
Just got confirmation. It was a minute 37 game time, our quickest round yet.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. So there we go, EL Gaming with, I think it's not fair to say it was a decisive win, because it wasn't decisive, it was just I don't know, an amazing win from EL Gaming.
Yeah.
I've never seen something so convincing.
Well, the post-game's really going to tell the tale of this, and I imagine there are going to be a lot of big fat zeros on the side of the DarkWolves. Almost saw a top 7 filled with just EL. Yep.
Almost.
Caviar on that 7th spot, and I bet my lucky dollar that it will be EL holding that 8th seed as well.
Can I just say,
you can.
Fox TS with the M40. He's got he's got 2 shots off in that tier 8 artillery piece in a minute and a half long game. He's connected both of them. They've both dealt an average of over 1,000 damage. Like, that is how you play artillery, folks.
Oh, I just lost my dollar. But Hardliner hitting that 9th spot. But yeah, I think that comes back to what you said. You like the strategy that DarkWolves are running, but when you're shooting 2 arty shots that are averaging for about 1,000 each, nothing's going to go your way.
No.
Nothing's going to go your way.
Oh, and back Kong there in the T-54 dealing 0 damage. Lambert the Batchat doing 400 damage. Revolution dealing 800. Gomley 800. Yui 900. Those numbers are not like... having 4 tier 10s and 1 tier 9 down the very bottom of the scoreboard like that, with under 1k damage each, is just insane. And, I mean... hail the Church of Elong. Like, 5-0, the most convincing 5-0 I think I've ever seen in WGL.
Without a doubt. And after their performance yesterday against Horsemen, it's good to see them come back and really just flex on the rest of APAC, showing them that EL Gaming, you don't mess around with the big dogs.
Yes, so let's take a look at the post-match stats after that one to see just how impressive EL were.
There you go. There's the top 7 we've been waiting for. And this, in the post-match averages, that's even more impressive.
Yeah. So that's EL Gaming. You might as well just not even show number 8 to 14 there, because this game was all about EL Gaming.
It's filled with sadness and tears and broken dreams, Alex.
Yep.
Broken hearts and broken dreams.
Black there with 2.5k average damage. Very, 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 very impressive. And I think almost topping our friend Mr. JT. But look at that. Binner with 1,300 average damage.
Backong had a rough series.
Backong. Look, even if you're playing tier 8s, like 337 average damage. Revolution, 628. Like, those are numbers that...
They just can't be having. They just can't be having this late in the competition. They really need to start picking
even
up
against
their
EL, you can still deal damage.
That's
tanks.
right. And sure, it doesn't matter who you're going up against, but if you're pulling measly stats like that, like if you want a chance at winning this whole thing, you got to go through EL. You're going to have to verse them eventually. You got to start picking up your game, and it can't all just be mad jumps, sick tricks out of Backong. You need to start pulling out the damage, penetrating the shots, and bumping those stats up, boy.
Yeah, bumping the stats up, absolutely. Well, EL Gaming have definitely bumped up their stats, I think, Max. But I think we're going to have to put EL Gaming on the back burner after that one, as we are heading into a little bit of a break before our next game. Don't go anywhere.